We build ships that fly faster than anything ever made. We dream of reaching other stars. We talk about colonies on Mars, about self-sustaining habitats, about generations born in orbit. But we never ask the real question, not how we will get there, not how we will survive, but what will we become if a child is conceived in silence, born in zero gravity, raised without wind, without rain, without the pull of Earth beneath their feet? What will they be? Will they still be human? Or will they be something else? Something new, something alien, something that looks like us, but thinks, feels, and breathes differently? This is not science fiction. This is inevitable, because if we leave Earth, we cannot take our biology with us. It will change, it will adapt, it will evolve, and the first child born beyond the sky will not be our descendant. They will be the first of a new species. And this is their story. People say astronauts float, but they live in zero gravity. It is wrong. They are falling. Forever. The International Space Station, 400 kilometers above Earth, is falling toward the planet at 7.8 kilometers per second. But the Earth curves away beneath it, so it never hits. It falls forever. That is orbit. That is not the absence of gravity. It is the perfect balance between falling and flying. And inside that fall, everything is weightless. Blood flows to the head. Bones lose density. Muscles shrink. Fluids shift. Even the air behaves differently. Now imagine a woman becomes pregnant. Inside that fall, no ground, no up, no down, just endless descent. And the embryo, the most fragile thing in existence, begins to grow. In a world where nothing holds it, where nothing pushes back, where the very force that shaped every human for 3 million years is gone. On Earth, the embryo implants itself into the uterine wall. Cells divide, organs form, bones harden under pressure, muscles contract against resistance. The heart pumps blood downward. The brain learns direction from the inner ear. In space, none of that happens. Studies on mice show, in microgravity, embryonic development slows. Cell division becomes chaotic. The spine does not curve properly. The heart develops abnormally. Blood vessels form randomly. The vestibular system, the part of the brain that tells you which way is up, fails to develop. A baby born in space would not know up from down, would not know left from right, would not feel the pull of the ground. Their entire nervous system would be wired for silence, for stillness, for floating. When they finally touched solid ground, they would scream, not from pain, from terror, because their body would tell them, you are falling, and you cannot stop. Human bones grow because they are stressed. Every step, every jump, every fall, they respond, they strengthen. In space, no stress, no load, no resistance. Bones begin to dissolve. Calcium leaks into the blood. Kidneys fail. Muscles waste away. An astronaut loses 1% of bone mass per month. A fetus? It has no time to build. It grows weak. Its skeleton soft, curved, broken by its own weightlessness. Legs? Too thin, too short, too weak to stand. Spine? Curved like a question mark. Head too heavy, neck too weak, shoulders slumped, chest collapsed. They would look like children with advanced osteoporosis, like survivors of famine from forgotten wars. But worse, because this is not disease. This is design. Their bodies were built for space, not for Earth. And when they came home, they would break under their own weight. Their bones would snap. Their muscles would tear. Their hearts, never trained to pump against gravity, would fail. They would die, not from radiation, not from cold, but from the simple, cruel fact that Earth still exists, and it remembers how to crush. On Earth, light enters your eye, your lens focuses, your retina detects, your brain interprets, but also your eyes move. They track motion. They follow faces. They learn depth from shadows, from perspective, from gravity. In space, there is no shadow, no horizon, no contrast, no sense of distance. Light comes from artificial lamps. Flat, uniform, unchanging. The developing visual cortex does not receive the signals it needs. Retinal cells do not connect properly. Optic nerves remain underdeveloped. The result? Blindness. Or worse, distorted vision. They might see two suns where there is one. They might think walls are moving. They might believe their own hands are floating away. They could stare at a tree on Earth and not understand why it stands still. Why it does not drift? Why it does not fall? They would call it magic or madness. They would never call it normal. The human brain is built for Earth. It relies on gravity to orient itself. The vestibular system in your inner ear tells your brain, you are upright, you are stable, you are safe. In space, that signal is gone. No input, no feedback, no reference. A child raised in orbit would have no concept of vertical, no sense of balance, no instinct to catch themselves when they fall. They would not know what falling means, because they never did. They would try to walk and simply float away. They would turn their heads and feel dizzy. They would touch a wall and think it was moving. They would hear their own heartbeat and think it was the sound of the ship. They would be trapped in a mind that never learned the rules of reality. Return to Earth and they would be insane. Not mentally ill, but biologically confused. Their brains would reject the world because the world did not match their experience. They would scream, not out of fear, out of confusion, because their senses were lying to them, and they had no way to know which was true. On Earth, gravity pulls blood down. The heart works against it. It must push harder to send blood to the brain. In space, gravity is gone. Blood rushes to the head. The brain senses too much fluid. It responds by reducing total blood volume by 20%. In adults, this causes dizziness, fainting, weakness. In a fetus, it causes permanent damage. The heart does not develop strong enough muscle. The chambers stay small. The valves weaken. The arteries thin. The child is born with a heart too weak to beat against gravity. On Earth, it would collapse within minutes. No surgery could fix it. No medicine could replace what was never built. They would need machines to keep them alive, not just for years, for life. They would be prisoners of their own biology, alive but never free. Space is full of death, cosmic rays, high-energy particles, protons, helium nuclei, electrons, moving at near light speed. They pass through steel, through lead, through flesh. They smash into DNA. They break strands. They mutate genes. We shield spacecraft. We use water. We use polyethylene. We use magnetic fields. But we cannot block it all. And a fetus is the most vulnerable thing in the universe. Its cells are dividing, growing, changing. Every hour, every minute, every second, radiation hits. A gene breaks. A neuron misfires. A memory fails to form. Experiments on rats, exposed to deep space radiation, produced offspring with signs of early Alzheimer's. Memory loss, confusion, loss of identity, emotional detachment. The child born in deep space might never remember their mother's face, might never recognize love, might never understand pain. They might laugh when others cry. They might stare at empty walls and think they are talking to someone. They would not be evil. They would not be broken. They would be biologically altered, a new kind of mind, one that does not remember being human. We avoid the question. We pretend it doesn't matter. But if we want to live in space, we must reproduce. And reproduction requires intimacy. In zero gravity, nothing stays in place. Bodies float. Liquids drift. Touch is difficult. Movement is clumsy. There is no friction, no pressure, no anchor. NASA says no human has ever had sex in space. Not even in private. Not even in simulation. Why? Because it is impossible to hold, to align, to connect. Without gravity, there is no grounding, no stability, no safety. Even if they tried using straps, tunnels, harnesses, Velcro suits, the act would be mechanical, clinical, cold, no pasión, no warmth, no connection, only function. And after, what remains? Loneliness, isolation, the knowledge that you are alone, not emotionally, biologically. You are the last of your kind, and you will never make another. Labor on Earth takes hours. It is violent. It is messy. It is primal. The mother pushes. The baby turns. Gravity helps. The birth canal guides. The placenta detaches. The cord is cut. In space, none of that works. The uterus has no floor, no walls, no direction. The baby could float out sideways or upside down. Blood would not flow down. It would pool around the head, around the chest, around the lungs. The mother, her muscles weakened, could not push. Her contractions, unfocused, uncontrolled. The umbilical cord could wrap around the neck, and there would be no gravity to help it drop, no midwife to guide, no doctor to cut, no emergency team, just silence and metal and the sound of breathing in a helmet and the smell of sweat recycled 100 times. The child, if it survives, will be born with bruises, with broken bones, with fluid in the lungs, with oxygen levels too low. It would not cry. It would gasp. Then it would float, and no one would know how to hold it, how to warm it, how to love it. Imagine child, 5 years old, born on a ship, never seen Earth, never felt wind, never tasted rain, never heard birds, never walked, never fallen, never cried for comfort because no one held them. They speak slowly. They move strangely. They do not blink often. They do not look at faces. They stare at lights. They smile, but their eyes do not change. They do not understand why people cry. They do not understand why people laugh. They do not understand why people fear the dark. They do not understand darkness because they have only known light, artificial, constant, unchanging. They do not know hunger. They do not know thirst. They do not know cold. They do not know heat. They do not know pain because they have never been hurt. They have never been loved. They have never been held. They are not monsters. They are not mistakes. They are evolution. They are the next stage. They are the first of a new species. Call them Homo Spatialis, the spaceborn. They are not human. They are not alien. They are something in between, and they will never forgive us for bringing them here. They come to Earth on a ship with pride, with hope, with the belief that this is home. They step out into sunlight, into wind, into gravity, and they collapse. Bones shatter, muscles tear, lungs flood, eyes bleed, hearts fail. They scream, not from pain, from disbelief, from the horror of realizing their body was never meant to be here. They try to walk. They fall. Again and again. They reach for a hand. No one catches them because no one knows how. They look at trees, at clouds, at rivers, at children playing, and they do not understand. Why do they move down? Why do things stay on the ground? Why do they breathe so loudly? Why do they cry? They're not sick. They're not broken. They are different, and Earth does not know how to treat them. They are not aliens. They are not monsters. They are the future, and the future has no place here. They will not speak our language. They will not share our emotions. They will not mourn the same things. They will not love the same ways. They will not fear the same things. They will not worship the same gods. They will not believe in the same myths because they were never taught them. They were taught silence. They were taught cold. They were taught isolation. They were taught that gravity is a myth. That light is a machine. That love is a chemical reaction. That death is a malfunction. They will build their own culture, their own religion, their own art. It will not be music. It will be vibration. It will not be painting. It will be light patterns. It will not be stories. It will be data streams. They will not have families. They will have networks. They will not have names. They will have codes. And when they look up, they will not see stars. They will see the hull of their ship, and they will wonder why anyone would want to leave it. The first child born in space will not be a miracle. It will be a warning, a sign that we have crossed a line, not with technology, but with identity. We thought we were taking humanity to the stars, but we are leaving humanity behind. We're not colonizing space. We are creating a new species, one that does not remember Earth, one that does not miss it, one that does not need it. And when that child opens their eyes, for the first time, in the silent glow of artificial light, they will not ask, "Where am I?" They will ask, "What is Earth?" And no one will know how to answer, because we, who once looked up, are now the ones who forgot how to look down. We hope this journey ignited your curiosity. Stay with us as we explore the edges of human identity, the silent transformations of biology, and the quiet tragedy of becoming something we no longer recognize. Subscribe and join us for the next discovery.